I was sitting in a cafe one afternoon. I wasn't planning on meeting anyone. I just felt like being alone. It was a rainy day, and the cafe was a warm welcome of calm. Sitting with my back to the door, the place hardly had any customers. As I sat scrolling through my phone, a man approached me and asked me if I was waiting for Joanna. I looked up at him. He was scruffy, unshaved, had greasy hair, and wore a maintenance jacket. I replied with a simple no, but he kept staring at me, as if to insinuate I was lying. He turned and looked around, then stared right back at me. He walked around like he was looking for someone. He seemed angry and upset. I pretended to be engrossed in my phone and could see him looking through the window from the corner of my eye. It was obvious to me that he was looking or waiting for his girlfriend or wife. My guess is she was probably cheating on him. Just then an older man in his 70s walked in. The stranger looked at him but didn't approach. Guessing again, he probably thought he was too old. Now, I could have been wrong about all this, but my sixth sense was telling me otherwise. The stranger was making me feel very nervous, so I decided to get out of there. I didn't want to get caught up in some stupid domestic drama. I started walking towards a car park. The rain was getting heavier. I jumped into my car. Looking through the front windscreen, I could see the stranger looking right back at me. The rain belted down. Unperturbed, he stood and stared at me from across the car park. I started my engine and slowly drove out of the car park and onto the main highway. I glanced in my rearview mirror and saw the stranger run towards his vehicle. A dirty old pickup truck came zooming out of the car park and onto the highway behind me. I started driving faster and contemplated ringing the police. The stranger sat back behind another vehicle. After about 5 minutes, he was still hanging behind me. I knew I couldn't go home. Sure enough, he kept on my tail. By this time, I knew I had to call the police. I searched frantically for my phone through my pockets while trying to keep the car steady. I couldn't find it. Must have left it on the counter when I paid the waitress. Damn. I started panicking. This guy was still behind me. Speeding up, I turned off at the next junction and followed the road round. Constantly checking my mirror, I could no longer see him. Kept driving, turning off into more secluded A-roads. About 15 minutes later, I realized I was lost. I pulled up on a muddy verge. It was bucketing down. I searched everywhere for my phone, but I couldn't find it. All I could hear was the rain. It was deafening. I waited almost an hour. The country lane was eerie. Not one car passed by the whole time. I was hopeful I had lost the stranger. Started getting dark. I slowly drove away. Eventually finding the road home, the rain started again. When I arrived home, my mother answered the door. She was frantic. I asked her what was wrong. She told me a man kept calling the house, asking for Joanna. My heart almost stopped. She said she kept trying to call me, but the same man kept answering. I explained what had happened. This guy must have found my phone in the cafe. The man had threatened my mother and said he was on his way over to kill me. I got to admit, he really put the fright in me. I immediately called my cell phone provider and got the phone locked. Then I called the police. There was no way he could have known my address. Whatever was going on, this guy was either crazy, or he genuinely believed I was in some way connected to Joanna, whoever she was. The police are investigating as we speak.